Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Team Calls. As everyone starts hopping in, I'm so excited to have a guest speaker tonight. Cristal Currier is going to be speaking for us, and make sure you guys stay on till the end because I'm starting to do a raffle for people on live. So everyone who's on live at the end, I'll do a random name picker, and today's prize is going to be personal development book, my favorite book I just finished called Being Boss. And if you already have it, I'll have like a second runner up. But so make sure and that will be after Cristal's done presenting. So let's get to the more fun stuff. But I'm so excited Cristal is going to be sharing with us today. So I had, some of you guys know this, some of you guys don't, but I had some, you may or may not know, I work with Josh Coates, and he gave me homework to like reach out to people and ask people to like trade team calls with. And I was like so nervous to do it. Like even talking about it, I'm like sweating. So I reached out to Cristal first because it was like, hey, if I could pick one person to speak on a team call, it would be Cristal. I just think she's just like the epitome of a boss babe. So I had to get her on a call. So she graciously accepted, and Cristal is a 2-star diamond coach. She is a Success Club All-Star legend with 55 months in Success Club. And you guys know I'm all about consistency, and like if that doesn't scream consistency, like what does? She went from being a full-time chiro assistant to doing one-on-one coaching for clients, and now she is a full-time Beachbody coach / badass, and she's a certified holistic health coach, which is so cool. I didn't know that. And a kitty mom, and just all around awesome. So I'm so excited for her to share her knowledge with us today. Make sure you have your notebook ready. I already have like questions if she doesn't answer them, so I'm like ready to go and learn from Cristal, and she always brings the energy, so if you won't even need like any sort of boost. So plan on like doing a little something after this call. That sounded a little weird, but you guys know what I mean. So, okay, I'll turn it over to Cristal.
Am I good? Awesome. Thank you. Okay, cool. I had to just unmute myself real quick. You can hear me though, right? Can I have some thumbs or like let me know? Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me and for that wonderful intro. I just want you guys to know that one, I think it's super awkward to drink water in front of people, but I'm going to do it. So just like hang on 1 second. And two, this is like my bedtime. So you guys mean the world to me because I'm sacrificing my bedtime to be here with you. That means like I really love you guys. Like I'm like a total grandma. Like literally, I have an alarm on my phone that goes off. It actually goes off at like 8:15, so I'm gonna shut it off. But it goes off at 8:15 and it says, yo, bitch, get ready for bed. Because I'm just like a grandma and I need to go to bed by like 9 p.m. So anyways, I'm really excited to be here. Rachel asked me to speak on Instagram and just like social media and what tips I have. And so I'm going to share them, and I'm going to try to do it like efficiently because I would love to answer some of your specific questions so that I can help whatever it is you need help with right now and whatever you want support with. So I'm not going to go like super into my story. Like you're more than welcome. We can connect on Instagram if you want to learn more about me. But I do want to say that like when I became a coach, which was like a while ago, I was like super shy. Like who I am today is not who I was when I first became a coach. And I feel like that's so amazing because so many of us coaches like have that transformation. And I feel like what we do as coaches is like the perfect recipe to really just like evolve in who you are and become better, because like we have the health and fitness aspect, and we also have like the community, but we also have that important thing called personal development, which is like what really helped me finally step out of my shell. So yeah, when I first became a coach, like super shy, like I'm talking like deathly shy. Like I would just not look at people because I didn't want anyone to talk to me. I was like that person, like in the grocery store, just like staring down. And like if people would talk to me, I would get so awkward, like more awkward than I was just drinking water. Like I was just would be like so weird and like didn't know how to talk to people, didn't want to talk to people. And I'm sure it was obvious like in my body language. And like I just basically wanted to hide from the world. Like I was that person who would always get like super red if anyone talked to me, like even said hi. It was really weird. But I'm trying to like paint that picture because I think sometimes people are afraid to put themselves out there on social media. And like here I am, someone who is like super deathly shy. And now I just love social media. And I think it's such a beautiful thing that allows us to connect with so many like-minded people. Like there is no limit to the amount of people that you can connect with. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share that in case anyone relates on like being nervous to share certain things or share themselves fully on social media. I'm really going to just focus on Instagram because like Facebook is not my thing. I'm sure like Rachel has more Facebook tips than I do because like Facebook is just not my thing. But I love Instagram and I like gravitated to it as a new coach because for some weird reason it felt safer to me. Like I don't know if you guys were on Instagram kind of, but I want to say before it blew up, but like I just like 3 years ago if you were on Instagram it just felt like a different world, and it still kind of does. I don't know why. Facebook I just think of like my grandma's on Facebook but she's not on Instagram, so I just feel like it's a different world. And that's kind of why I gravitated to it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna rock the F out of Instagram. And I didn't ask Rachel if I could swear, but I'm sure there's going to be some swearing tonight. Okay. And I did this thing. I don't know if you guys follow Chalene Johnson or have in the past, but she talks about doing seasons of things. So I did a season of Instagram. I didn't forget about Facebook, and I still use Facebook. So I'm not saying like, oh, drop everything you're doing and focus solely on one platform. But I did this season where like all of my business personal development was on Instagram. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to master this. And if there's anything about me, I'm super stubborn and I won't stop doing anything until I succeed. So I'm going to share with you like all the things that I've learned. And okay, so why the gram? Obviously, it just feels like its own little world that you can kind of be whoever you want to be. Like you can show up as whoever you want to show up as on Instagram. Like I just feel like if you don't feel fully confident in yourself, you can show up fully confident on Instagram because you can just like decide who you want to be. And you can connect with literally endless people on Instagram. I feel like it's way easier to find people on Instagram. My opinion, like I said, I don't know much about Facebook. I kind of just like post there to post, but I don't really build on Facebook. Instagram is like a world, like just seas of people, and it never ends. Like you could literally spend your whole power hour on like that new girlfriends part. Not that you should, but like you could spend and never run out of people. Like you'd never run out of people. Like that's the amazing thing. So that's why I think it's just like important to be on there and kind of know somewhat what you're doing. Like you don't have to be a pro at it, but just kind of know like how to connect with people. Okay, so let's kind of get into the basics. So something that I teach my team, and whenever I do Instagram trainings for like Josh and anyone else he asks me to do them for, I always talk about like the basics of knowing who you are first. So you can't connect with your people if you don't know who you are to the core. You're not selling Beachbody. You're not selling our fitness programs. You're not selling Shakeology. People work with you for you. When people sign up and say yes to you, it's for you. They want to work with you. Like that's the awesome part. You are the money. You are the thing. Everything else is just a bonus. So I hope you know that. And I hope that makes you like stand in your power a little bit more on social media. So good marketing is all about telling your story and boldly being you. So what we're going to do is we're going to pin down a little bit. This is kind of more like branding tips. I like geek out over branding. I don't know why. I'm just kind of obsessed with it. So first and foremost, you're going to have some homework. You might want to write this down. Number one, brainstorm who you are. Some of you may have already done this before. I like to revisit this exercise, so don't be afraid to do it again if you've done it. But literally just start brain dumping, like who you are as a person, like what's your personality like, what are your hobbies, what are your passions, what are some struggles that you've overcome in life, like some of those main things that you're going to talk about when you get really vulnerable and you tell your story. Like what makes you you? Like how did you end up the person that you are today? No one is you, and that's your power. So just remember that all these things you're brainstorming, this is what makes you different. This is what makes you stand out. It's a noisy world on social media, but if you just be your unique self and you don't try to be like all the other people, like you don't try to be like other coaches or whatever, other people you look up to, if you just be yourself, that's where the success and the magic comes. And that's when your business feels really, really good. Like that's the spot where you're just like, this feels awesome to just kind of be in my zone and just share my flow and do everything that's about me. Because then what happens? You attract people who are you. You start attracting all of your people. And that's amazing to work with people who are just like you. Like that's how you create best friends for life. Okay, so next you're going to create your dream girl avatar. I don't know if you guys have ever created an avatar before. I would highly recommend, like, once you put this down on paper, to actually go into like Canva and create your dream girl, like create a picture for her. And name her. So my dream girl, her name is Summer, and she is essentially me. She's a girl who like didn't used to know why she was put on this earth, but she was striving for something more. She's someone who like loves boho vibes and loves music festivals. Like she's me. Okay, she's me. I just created another me. And every time I write a post on social media, I only talk to Summer. Every time you write a post on social media, only talk to that one person. You're not trying to talk to everyone. If you try to talk to everyone, you'll end up connecting with no one. So like, just remember that when you're writing, and it makes it easier to write your post because you're legit writing to you. Like what would myself maybe a year or two ago need to hear today? Like sometimes I ask myself that if I'm feeling stuck on what to share. Okay, so we've done all of this awesomeness. And then the next step is to pin down your pillars. You can call them topics, you can call them pillars, you can call them like guiding lights, whatever you want to call them. But you're going to pick 3 to 5. And this is like what you really want to share with the world based off who you are. Like you did all this brainstorming, and now you're going to pick like 3 to 5 things that you consistently want to share on your social media. It can be things that like you stand for, or it can be more of like hobbies, passions, like if you love fashion, like that could be one of your topics. Or like I said, it could be things that you've gone through, like your struggle. So for me, like I'm really big on sharing like standing in your power and shining your light, because that's something I went through where I used to be really shy and scared of the world. So come up with your 3 to 5 pillars. And that's essentially what people are going to start to know you by. So like if someone's following you and they have a friend who's like, hey, like I'm really struggling with, I don't know, anxiety or something, and you're someone who shares that, they're going to recommend your page, right? So this is what you're going to become known for. This is essentially part of your brand story. I can give you some examples. So obviously mine, all of ours, is like health, fitness, wellness is probably one that we're all going to have. For me personally, I share a lot on like holistic living. Like we live toxic free. We don't have any toxins in our cleaning products or in my beauty products or anything like that. We live a toxic free home and life. And so that's something I talk about. My other topic, I call it woo-woo shit, which is basically just like meditating and like crystals and just all that kind of stuff, like just being one with the universe and all that stuff. And the cool thing is, now my entire team is like that. Like, isn't that cool? And then boho style is something else. And then, like I said, authenticity, being yourself, like shining your light, that's another one of my topics. So I just thought I'd share those, not that we have the same topics, but just to give you examples. This is like your home base. So that's not to say you can't ever share about other things. You obviously are going to have things come up in life that you want to share that don't fall in these categories. That's cool. Share it. Like, don't be like, oh no, I can't share it. Like, obviously have that freedom and flexibility in your social media and your branding, but know that like the things you talk about consistently are what you become known for and what you are going to attract. Okay, so that's like the basis. Instagram is a visual platform, obviously. You can't post just words. I mean, you can post a quote visual, but like you need a visual to actually make a post on Instagram, right? Like a real post. We're not talking stories. Like you need a real physical picture or video to put up a post on Instagram. So I'm just going to real quick, like I'm not going to get in detail, but I'm just going to say that like your visuals matter. Take a second. Like don't post dark photos. No one's gonna look at your stuff. Okay, this is the world we live in. You all know it too. Like if something doesn't catch your eye, you just keep scrolling. You just keep scrolling. You just keep scrolling. So you have to realize that like we all have ADD now. And we also live in a very visual world now because of social media and everything that's coming at us. So that means if you want to stop the scroll on your audience, you have to make sure that it's like worthy of stopping, that either like the visual catches their eye or like that first line of copy is like the text that you put up, is really like draws them in and they're like, oh, I want to read more. So just pay attention to like the lighting, your visuals, just maybe taking a second to be like, oh, is this a clear photo? Like, does this look good? Would this stop my scroll? Because I always think about human nature. Like, that's what I always think about when it comes down to social media is like, what draws my attention? What makes me stop when I'm scrolling? And I think that's a good way to think about your own social media and learn what it is that really stops your attention. Okay, so something that's kind of more on the branding side, I always ask, like, how do you want your account to feel? And I know that might be weird, like, to think about it that way, but essentially, like, your Instagram is a magazine. You know, people go there, it's about certain topics, and it's all visual, so it's like a magazine, right? And so to pin down your branding, because everything kind of has to go together in order for it to feel really good for someone to go to your page. Like if it's totally random and none of your visuals really go together, it's kind of confusing. No one really knows what you're about. Like maybe you have this kind of like dark, artsy, Amy Silverman type post, but then your next post is like Jatana Jackson style. People are going to be like, I'm super confused. And they're not going to understand your vibe. Like they're not going to know what's going on. So I would always say, like, how do you want your account to feel? Write that down and kind of stick to that theme. So an example might be, do you want it to feel light and airy and like a lot of white space? Or would you like it to be more bold and bright colors and in your face? Or would you like that more like darker artsy feel with like, what is it? All the bloggers have like those filters that have like little dust. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's like dust pieces on your photo. It's kind of weird. It's like, oh man, I totally forget her name. I'll think of it later. But anyways, think about how you want your account to feel. I think doing the branding with your Instagram kind of sets you apart a little bit more because it's like you're taking that next step. It's like you're going the extra mile to really stand out and connect with your people and put your vibe out there, if that makes sense. And so for an example, like my account, if you've been there, you want to check it out, the theme is light, airy, and whimsical. Like that is my theme. All of my photos have like little like light colors in it, and every single photo is edited the same, which I'm going to get to that in a second. So to make it all go together like a magazine would, all of my photos are edited the exact same way. They're all the same filter. Like I always say, marry a filter. I know that sounds intense, but marry a filter. Okay. some things with lighting, like to take better visuals or, you know, make videos, just pay attention to lighting. It's not that you have to go out and buy, what are they, ring lights? Like, I don't even have one of those. But if you could maybe go by a window to take a photo, or maybe go outside if it's nice weather, or just kind of pay attention to where the lighting is the best, like in your house or wherever it is you're taking most of your photos. Okay, that's kind of all I'm going to say about that. I will say that, like, a lot of my photos are staged. So oftentimes to learn about social media, I'll go to different types of people on social media. So to learn about social media, I'm not going to coaches. I'm not looking at what coaches are doing. I'm going to different industries to learn what they're doing. So for example, I go to bloggers a lot. Like, you'll see all the Instagram bloggers and all the people, I feel like they're called something else. Are they called influencers now? Yeah, I think they're called influencers. And I'll see what they're doing, and I'm just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take what they're doing. I'm going to make it my own, and I'm going to do it in our industry. I'm going to do it for me. So setting up my photos, oftentimes I will actually like set it up like a stage, and I will legit get like props. And I would be like, what do I need in my photo today? Like, maybe yesterday, whatever, I had a cute coffee mug that was like a unicorn. So like, maybe the next day I'm gonna like do a photo facing down that's like with my personal development book and my journals and my crystals, and maybe my smoothie, like my Shakeology or something, and like have a photo like that. So oftentimes I'm thinking about like what's in my photo, what needs to be in my photo, what was in my last visual that I put up. I know it sounds like a lot, but honestly, it's totally habit now for me. Like, it just becomes second nature. And I feel like sometimes that's just something that'll set you apart. Like, you see these people on Instagram who are getting like thousands and thousands of likes, and honestly, it's not because they just snapped a photo out of nowhere. Like, they really were intentional behind it. And I feel like that feels better too. Like, I'm all about having your business feel really, really good to you. And to me, that's just something that feels good when I look at my own photo and I'm like, dang girl, that looks awesome. There's also something I talk about that, do it for the motherfucking likes. So buy the t-shirt for the likes. I feel like Rachel always does this because her shirts always have quotes on them. Exactly. But I don't know, buy the unicorn mug for the likes. Buy the purple lipstick for the likes. I don't know, do something different to stand out. Like, you can't just have the same selfie day after day, day after day. Boring AF. No one's gonna go to your page. Like, sure, your best friends will like it, but like no stranger is gonna be like, oh my god, I can't wait to see her selfie today. Let me go to her page. So I think the point is really to just do something different, try something new, see how it works. I don't know, see if it sticks, see how it feels to you. And yeah, that's just what doing it for the likes is all about. Just be creative. I don't know, get in that zone. And I wouldn't identify myself as like a creative person, but I definitely have a lot of fun with my social media. And I think that's the point. Like, the point is to have fun in your business. Side tip, like, the universe works faster when you're having a lot of fun. So if you want to reach your goals, you should be having fun. Okay, so probably the most common question I get nonstop every single day, multiple times a day: how do you edit your photos? I mean, I could sit here and show you exactly how I edit them, but I'm going to give you some apps that I really like if you want to check them out, and you can pick one for you. I'll tell you which one I use, but I'll tell you also like a little bit about the other ones. So, I mean, Canva, we all know Canva has an app now. I only really use that for story templates. Canva has an actual story template in there now. And so you can create like a template for like a new coach welcome, or like a girl who just signed up for your challenge group, you can do them a welcome or something like that. Or if you want a template for like quotes you want to put on stories, like you can have it already made in Canva. And then that way, when you want it, you just plug the quote in and it's good to go, like super easy. So that's why I wanted to mention that one. When it comes to editing photos, Afterlight is really good. They have a version 1 and a version 2. I use the version 2 for the light leaks. They have really nice light leaks. It's kind of artsy, and I still can't remember that girl's name because she uses it, and I wanted to let you know, but it's fine. Whatever. Okay, so Rana Designs is a text one. They have some fun text. I mean, I think you can edit photos in there too, but I typically use it just for text. And since we're talking about text, Word Swag, I'm sure you guys have all heard of that. That's a really good one for text. And then my favorite app of all, which is the one I edit my photos with, is Visco, VSCO. Does anyone use it? It's the best. Like, it's the best. And you know what's the best about it? Yeah, the text was Rana Designs. Or Word Swag. I can type these. So Visco, the awesome thing is once you figure out the way you want to edit your photos, it's a recipe and you can literally just copy and paste it on your next photos. So it's like you're spending no time editing photos besides maybe like changing a few tweaks if it's like the lighting is different from the original photo, but that's like it. Like, how awesome is that? So like you just edit, you can copy paste in Visco, save it, and then if you want to do anything else with it, you can, or you can just post it. Like, obviously I was saying my theme is like whimsical. So after I save it from Visco, I go into Afterlight 2 and I add light leaks. So whatever, like whatever your theme is, kind of go with that and figure out an editing style for that and then stick to it. That's not to say you can't ever rebrand. Like, you're never married like to your branding forever, but I would stick to it for a long time, like for a good amount of time. Like I wouldn't switch it up every single day from like a different editing style. I did pay for Visco. I don't remember how much it was. I don't know if Rachel knows off the top of her head. I was just like, hashtag worth it, duh. Yeah, I'm sure it's like a few bucks probably. Okay, so that was kind of it with editing. And then post like a boss. Are you a business account or is your Instagram a business account? Anyone? If you have a business account, you can look at your insights. So you can see what times your audience is on, which means you should be posting at that time. And if there's certain times during the week that are like your really, really high times overall for the week, you can pick when you want to do like call to action posts based off like when your people are on. So that might be an easier way to plan out your social media based off knowing what time you should post for your audience. Yeah, so timing, I'm going to talk a little bit about the algorithm, which is always changing. So what I say today could be different tomorrow. But the algorithm right now is based off interaction. So it's kind of like a Facebook algorithm, basically. I mean, Facebook owns Instagram, but so it's about comments, getting comments, and it's about getting double taps, and it's also about getting saves. So on Facebook, we think about what's share worthy, but on Instagram, we think about what's save worthy. And I always go in my insights and I look at what people are saving for my posts, because you know what that shows me? It shows me that it's valuable enough for someone to want to save it and revisit it later. So check out, like, as you start posting, look at your insights, see what people are saving, because that means that they've liked it enough to save it and spend time on it again later. So yeah, if the algorithm is based off engagement, that means you should pay attention to what gets the most likes, to what gets the most comments, maybe ask questions in the copy of your post so that you do get people to comment. A little tip is like you can create Instagram pods. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but like you can get together with like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 people. I wouldn't make them super big. Any bigger than that might get a little overwhelming. But if you make an Instagram pod and you put like 5 people in it, every time like one of you posts, you can share your, I feel like this is cheating, but you can share your post in there, and then you can go comment on each other's posts just to like boost it in the algorithm so that the rest of your audience can see it. Because what happens when you get comments, then Instagram's going to throw it into more of your audiences. And that way the people who really need to see your message are more likely to see it. So yeah, if you want to create a little pod, that would be good. Yeah, I really wouldn't make it more than like 6, 7 people, because then you're like spending your day like your business time commenting on all these other people's stuff, and that's really not the most productive use of your time. So when it comes to posting, consistency is everything. Regardless of time, if you don't show up every single day, you're honestly, like I was talking about before, our attention spans are so short that like if you miss just like a few days and then you come back like after the weekend or whatever, people honestly forgot about you. I mean, that can definitely happen. Obviously, your lifers who are totally in love with you on your Instagram, like they won't forget about you. But people who might be newbies to your page who just started following you, if you go MIA out of nowhere and then you come back, they're literally going to be like, wait, who is this girl? I don't know like where she came from. Unfollow. That's kind of how it is. So I would say like consistency, even if you're only posting like once a day, that's good, is making sure you're showing up every day and just doing like once a day. I don't know if like Rachel recommends a certain amount of time each day, so I don't want to like say something wrong. But yeah, like as long as you're showing up every day is basically what I'm saying. Okay, so always think about 80% value, 20% sharing your business and inviting. You have no right to invite people like to your business if you're not showing up every single day and literally pouring into them. Like this is what we do, guys. We are in like the business of like serving other people and helping people. If you're not showing up and giving crazy value every single day, you have no right to ask them to join you. Like, so always think about the fact that like your post should majorly be just about adding value to their lives and making sure that you're that person for them that they know that they can count on. And then if you're doing that, then you have every right to show up and invite to your challenge groups, invite to coaching and all of that stuff. Okay. Oh yeah. I call it give, ask. Kind of like jab, 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 right hook. You guys have read that, right? Really good. Okay. So growing your account on Instagram and connecting with your audience. I think a lot of people are so interested in having like a bigger Instagram account, which like, yeah, obviously you have a bigger account. That means you can connect with more people. But I always am hesitant to say just focus on the growing, because I think if you already have followers, if you have more than like one follower on Instagram, just don't forget about nurturing those relationships, because right now you have people who are following you who care about you and they want to see your journey. So as you focus on like growing your social media, always make sure that you're nurturing the relationships that you already have and the people that are already following you. It cares. So I'm pretty sure Gary Vaynerchuk said this sometime. I think it was like at Summit last year, not this year, last year. I think so. Was he at Summit last year? Was that last year? I think so. Okay. Sometime Gary Vee was there. And he said that it doesn't matter the number of followers. It matters how many of them actually care about you. So like you can have people on Instagram and you see them have like 100,000 followers and they make no money off of that because like they don't connect with their audience and they're not actually nurturing those relationships. But at the same time, you can have someone on Instagram who's got like 2,000 followers and their audience loves the heck out of them and they make six figures off of that. You know what I mean? So it matters way more about how many people care about you, which means you're showing up every day, you're sharing, and you're being your unique self. Okay. Some ways to connect with new people. So, I mean, hashtags, everyone knows about it. I'm not going to say that like you're going to put hashtags on your photo and then all of a sudden thousands of people are going to follow you. Like that's not how it is. But I mean, hey, you might as well. You never know. You could put some hashtags on your photos and you just never know. If you're going to use hashtags, like make sure they're kind of smaller ones. So I wouldn't hashtag fitness because your post is going to get lost in that feed. So find a smaller one that's more specific to you. Like I use locations a lot. So I will like, I'm from Maine. So I will do like hashtag East Coast girl or something like that, or do like a Boston hashtag or something. Cause they tend to be smaller used hashtags, but also what am I doing? I'm finding my dream people in those locations. By the way, my dream girl Summer lives on the East Coast, so I'm using all the East Coast hashtags in geotags, which like in stories, like you can use the geotag in all of your stories, but like make it the see-through one and then make it super, super small and just like hide it in the corner. And then you can like show up on like the Boston stories geotag or whatever. Once again, not saying thousands of people are going to see it and come running to you, but you might as well utilize like the ways you can connect with people, right? Okay, so I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah, so your visuals bring people in like we talked about, but your words have to be worth their time. Time is money. Like time, I feel like, is just so special to all of us, especially nowadays, because we're constantly got things coming at us like all the time. So you kind of have to swoon people with your words. And I'm no writer at all. Like I'm not a poet, guys. But I feel like when you write from your heart and you share the true you, that makes writing copy way easier. And when you do that, you swoon your people who are out there that need to connect with you. Do you feel me? Do you get what I'm saying? If you're busy, you might want to plan some posts ahead of time. I've always done this. Like even when I was working full-time and building my business, and even now, like when I do this full-time, I always have a photo album on my phone that is labeled like social media ready to post. And it's an entire album of photos that have already been taken and they've already been edited. So if I've got a busy day or something comes up, like life throws me a curveball, that's not an excuse not to make a post that day. I have photos ready to go. I also, on my notes app, I don't know if you guys do this, but I'll have like social media posts already written in the notes app on my phone for if I need to just copy paste real quick. So yeah, that might be helpful for any of you who are really busy. Okay, so don't be afraid to get vulnerable when it comes to your copy on your post. Like, I don't know if you guys have read any of Brene Brown's books, but like I eat, sleep, breathe them, and I've read them so many times. And that, like literally the only way to build deep connections is by getting really, really vulnerable with your social media. That's not to say you're not gonna just like throw negative posts up or anything like that. That's just saying you're okay sharing the things you've gone through and you flip it to a positive at the end and you offer that value to other people in case anyone else is like going through that same exact struggle, like anxiety or whatever, like being super shy or anything you've ever gone through, like you can turn it into a story and you can share it. In order for people to invest in you, to buy from you, to join your team, they have to trust you. And how do you build trust? With vulnerability. Like that's exactly how you do it. So don't be afraid to get vulnerable if you aren't doing it yet. Hopefully you are. Okay, so I think the most important thing to growing an audience on Instagram is being proactive. So like I said, you're not going to put hashtags on your post and then thousands of people are going to be like, oh my God, I'm so excited I found you. I can't believe I found you. Like, you're my best friend for life. Can I buy from you? Can I join your team? Do all that. That's not really what happens. I think that you should be proactive and take radical responsibility for your own social media, which is your business. So I'm all about setting aside the time to like build your social media, which is also bringing in new friends into your life, which is part of our power hour, right? So setting aside whatever, like 30 minutes a day to just go find your dream people, whoever it is. You can find them in hashtags, you can find them in geotags. My favorite way to find people is to go to like smaller business accounts on Instagram and look at their followers and look at who's interacting on their post and find my dream girls that way. Because we already have something in common, right? Let's say I'm like going to this local boutique or something to find my new girlfriends. Like we already both shop there. We already both love it. So we have something to talk about. This doesn't work great with a big account like Nike. You kind of have to find like smaller brands and businesses to do this. But that's like my favorite way to find new girlfriends. Okay. And then I'm sure you guys already know this, but to like find new girlfriends and connect with new people and to build your audience, you have to love on them first. Like you can't just expect to go to their page and not show them any love, like just give them a follow and then all of a sudden they'll pour love into you. You get what you put out. So like go to their pages and double tap and comment on their stuff and follow them and send them a message and comment on their stories all day. every day, because when you comment on people's stories, it slides in their DMs. And what happens then? You're in their face all the time. Like, I message my dream girls all the time, and I'm just like, oh, hey, did you forget about me? No, you can't, because I'm here every day. Okay, so stories. Okay, stories. We're all using stories, right? Like, this isn't, okay, like, this is good. Stories are life. Stories really show the real you. Like, I feel like that is like vulnerability at its best. There's no hiding anything on stories. That is the real you. That is how you connect with your lifers, like through stories. When they see the real you and there's nothing like fake there, you're talking, strongly suggest like talking on your stories every single day. That was scary for me when stories first came out. And like, I felt like I was over my whole like shyness when stories came out. When was it? Like, I'm pretty sure it was only like a year ago. And I was so terrified, guys, like heart racing, like sweating. And all I got on there was like, oh, hi guys. But I was like dying. But anyways, like, go on there and talk, because that's the real you. Like, don't just post photos all day or boomerangs all day on your stories. Go on there and really just like talk to your people. Talk every day about your challenge groups. Talk every day about coaching. Like, do an invite every single day on stories. Like, every single day I'm inviting on my stories like crazy. Be weird. Like, totally be weird on your stories. Because that literally, weirdness like connects us. Isn't that weird? But like, you see someone who's doing something super weird, but you also do that super weird thing, and then all of a sudden they like need to be best friends with you, because weirdness is like that connector. So go on there, be super weird, just like be yourself. Don't be afraid to do anything that's weird. Okay. Branding your stories a little bit. Stories give you a little bit of freedom. Like, you don't have to be super into your branding on stories, but I will say, like, I try to make mine somewhat cohesive with the brand of my page so that it makes sense. So obviously mine have a ton of sparkles and unicorns all over them all day, every day. If that's not your brand, you might not want to do that, but like, just kind of bring, which is your personality. Your branding is your personality. So it's like pretty easy to bring it into your stories. Okay, let's see. I feel like that's it. And I also feel like I just talked for like 45 minutes. So any questions or anything?
Oh my gosh, that was so good. I have so many notes, like 2 full pages. I like learned so much. And if you guys haven't gone to check out Cristal's Instagram, like, you have to do that as part of your homework. And I expect everyone to do this like branding part of your homework. Like, no one is allowed to say to their coach, like, I don't know what my brand is or my niche. Like, she just gave you like the most actionable steps ever. And P.S. thank you for staying up past your bedtime. We're like, most of us are like that too. So we really appreciate it. Okay, but I really do have a question. Well, okay. People like, no one ever wants to be first, so I'll be first to ask a question. So you said that you'll like keep extra posts like in your I have 2 questions. You keep extra posts in your notes. I do that too. Do you plan your social media ahead of time? Like, do you get in like a creation mode, or do you kind of go day by day and just have things like when you're feeling blocked? Like, what's kind of your...
Yeah, I mean, I'm a total peacock, so I don't plan. But I do, so knowing that like, knowing I have certain call to action posts coming up, like, I'll look at my insights and I'll be like, okay, that's Wednesday at 10 a.m. Then I'm going to post that. But other than that, literally, I just like fly by the seat of my pants.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it clearly works for you. You can tell like that you're like what you're posting about, like you're passionate about at the time. So it obviously works. And then do you like, how many times a day do you like to post on stories and on your feed?
Stories all day, like literally all day, every day. For actual post, it's only like 1 to 2. I feel like quality over quantity is the name of the game now when it comes to Instagram. So yeah, 1 to 2 quality posts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Who else has questions? I know y'all have questions because everyone has Instagram questions. Like, you have the Instagram queen here right now. So.
I do. I have a question.
Go, Chelsea.
So I found out this little tip on Instagram. I wanted to know if you use it. I am actually not a peacock. I'm a very organized person. I have to be, or I have like the anxiety. So,
Yeah, we should be besties because we'll
yeah.
be perfect together.
So there's like a little tab or files or whatever on Instagram. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like the save button?
Yeah, and you can actually create categories. Did you know that? I
Yeah.
just learned it. Do you use that like to help love on your people?
Oh, well, I use it for my own personal use, but I use it more for like inspiration. So like my categories are workout photography inspo or flower photo inspo or quotes or things like that. So what you're suggesting is saving the people you want to track.
Well, like you had like, pick 3 to 5 topics for yourself. Well, what I did was I created folders for those 3 to 5 topics and would organize my people by that. So like some people might follow me, or I might have conversations about fitness with one, but I might have a conversation with somebody else about anxiety with another. And that way I kind of know who I'm loving on and talking to and what I'm talking to them about when I go to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea and very organized. I'm very impressed.
But I just wondered how you used it, but I like the way you used it too, because I always follow people for inspiration as well. So
yeah, no, I liked that tip. And it's working well?
Yeah, it keeps me, and it keeps me sane.
Awesome. I like that. I might start that. Were any or questions in here? Sorry guys, I like am super ADD. So like when you guys were commenting in the chat, I was like, I kind of had to stay focused.
I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, the light's going off. Like I can't pay attention. Okay, so Casey asked, is there an easy way to see who saves your, like how many saves you have on your posts? Like I was just looking at mine. I didn't actually know that. And I know you can click on each one individually and see it. Is there an easier way?
That's how I do it, is like I look at the individual ones, but I'm pretty sure in your insights you can see under content like the most saved ones. I think. I could be making it up now. Yeah, saves. Go to the most saved ones like in the last year and you'll see people apparently like my fat ball recipe.
Oh, mine doesn't show that.
Oh, okay. So you went under content?
Yeah.
And you went to see all?
That's not a choice for, oh, okay, wait, yeah. Okay, see all, yeah.
And then click on impressions.
Okay.
And then scroll middle one, yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so helpful.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through to see if I saw any other questions for people that don't. If you want to unmute yourselves, guys, and just ask a question, just do so while we have her for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, questions are good.
So for the, like, looking at the saves, I was really surprised to see, like, some of them, like 5 on, like, a quote, but we won't know who saved it, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so just more insight on, like, what people are looking. It's funny how, like, who would save a quote? But I guess those are probably really popular. If people like quotes, like, oh, I'll save that, maybe use it later or something.
Yeah, it was probably me. It's probably in my folder.
True. I actually had a quick question for you too. I've been seeing a lot of people like finding branding agencies that will like look at your Instagram and they ask you a bunch of questions about who you are and then they help you create that feel. Mm-hmm. Is that something you ever thought about doing, or is that something you see other people doing?
That's a great question. I probably wouldn't do it. But I guess if someone basically wanted to delegate that and have someone do it for them, then you could.
Okay. I was just curious. It didn't look very expensive, but the questions they asked, and like that was really good with guiding, like you know, what type of feel, exactly what you were saying too. And then they have somebody like create, like, I don't know if Rachel did this with like her Flex 4 symbol, like it helps like kind of create that look or like a visual for them, for the brand.
Yeah, it's like creating a mood board. Like if you go into Pinterest and make like a mood board, you're like, okay, I'm only going to pin things that really grab my eye. And then you look at it like a theme. Yeah, which is a really fun exercise.
Thank you.
Lauren, that's really interesting. Will you like post that? And so some of us, like, I know I'm not good at that type of thing. Like, I don't really know like what I like to look at and stuff like that doesn't make sense to like my brain. And I know other people are like that too. So maybe if you post that, then people can check it out. But yeah, some people have an eye for that. Like obviously Cristal and like Gina K like have an eye for that stuff. Other people just struggle more. Just like some people are analytical and some people aren't. You know. That's,
I have a quick question. So can you hear me? Okay. So like, do you guys think about when you post pictures, like this one, I'm looking this way, like the next one, I'm going to do this, like different angles or different, like I was looking at my feed the other day, I'm like, I feel like it's really, like, it looks busy to me, but I don't know if that's like, because obviously if you have your face in each one, like it's going to look like somewhat busy. I don't know if anyone else like thinks about that.
Yeah, I totally think about that. Like I didn't post a photo yesterday because I was sitting the same way in the photo next to it. So yeah, I totally think about that. And sometimes I think about that before I take the photo. I'm like, oh, I was whatever, standing flexing in yesterday's post. So I'm probably not going to do that again today. Cause like, I mean, how many flexing photos can you put up?
Right. Do you have specific people, like, I really liked how you said to look at other people outside of coaching and like different bloggers and stuff. Are there certain people like that you'd recommend? Like, obviously we can't all be looking at the same ones, but just to like get us started looking at like different types of people?
Yes. I can give some examples. Give me 1 second. Let me just go into my saved folders. Go into flowers. Yeah, okay, so for like inspiration, people outside of what we do. A lot of mine are like, all right, this girl's really creative. Do you want me to type it? I'm going to type it, but it's Maddie, period, Corbin. And I can even find some different, oh, this girl's my favorite. Okay, Audrey Storm. She's like my favorite. And she's not really my vibe. We don't post anything, like our brands are totally different, but I just think I look at her photos a lot and I'm like, how could I do that myself? Granted, she's using like a real camera, but whatever.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have kept Cristal up past her bedtime long enough. I have so much good stuff written down, so many homework pieces. Thank you so much, Cristal, for hanging out with Flex tonight. We so appreciate your energy and all your Instagram knowledge so much. Everyone send Cristal some love, and I really am so grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
So glad. And our winner for tonight, everyone's like, I needed this so bad. Thank you. It's so great. Good. Our winner for tonight's raffle is Erica N. So just shoot me your, she's like, oh, just shoot me your address and I'll get that to you ASAP because I'm priming it. So I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your Monday and awesome rest of your week.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Can I take a photo?
Yeah.
Okay, are you guys? Oh shoot, I took it already and it was a boom. That was really funny. Okay, are you guys ready? Do you want to do a boom? So like, do something. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having
Thank you,
me.
Crystal.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.